things. My power went out, internet went out Saturday,
Yeah,
lightning,
yeah.
knocked my TV out,
Oh.
my internet out. And so then I thought about, I gotta go on my phone.
I'd be happy anytime to.
Yeah,
to
then I
print it out.
forwarded to for my phone to work
Yeah.
and print it out. But
I
that's
can
what
print
happened.
it, yeah, I can print it
Yeah.
up at any time.
And they, look, they went out Saturday, they're not coming to tomorrow.
Oh, really? But that, at least it's just the internet, and it's not like your, lights or anything.
Yeah, right, true.
Yeah.
And how you doing? Well, how you doing, fine? Whew.
Printed it off?
Just told my internet gone.
Oh.
Hey, how you doing? Fine, my internet's gone. I had downloaded and everything to my phone. I said, that Spectrum, I tell you, was the truth. They faithfully getting you, but then when it comes down to service, it's slow. That's ever since Saturday. And then on the Tuesday, see that? Yep. That's what's going on.
Printed agendas.
I can print it, what time, do you want one?
Hit me.
Yeah, 'cause I make notes on it.
Like lunch?
You welcome. You're not limited to one. They can say,
Thank you, thank you.
yeah, that's what happened.
Get the mayor to be on time, we might can make this thing fast.
I tell you. That's what happened, you know? I was reading from that.
Well, we're live streaming now, so once the meeting starts, if you all could speak into your mics, that'll help people. And if you need to mute, just hit the push button in front of you and that'll mute your mic.
Hey.
Thank you. Drew coming?
Hmm?
Okay. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good. How you doing?
Fine, how you?
I'm at the doghouse. It's my wife's birthday.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, you here? You here?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, she doesn't learn yet. I tell my children, every day I wake up, it's a birthday. Every day.
I tried convincing my wife of that, but she ain't buying it. She ain't buying it.
Should we send Ms. Lucas over to your house?
Might have to send somebody, might send Chief with me, armed security.
Got it, thanks, sorry, I got trying to juggle these things at the same time.
before, speak to anyone, cause I read before. Lost in there. I said, oh, them things. Good gracious.
You ain't got a whole list of them to fill.
Dr. Weeks returned. That's your notice to me.
Mark, how you doing, sir?
Good, sir, how you doing?
Good.
Hi, Michelle. Long time no see.
Still
All right.
Yeah, have. Brent, how you doing? Good, saw your mama out working in the yard.
She's all the time doing that.
Walking her little dog.
She's better about it than I am.
No, hard worker.
Yo, Tommy's not
Yeah,
coming.
we scoot down. Chair wasn't there. I don't know.
Do you know, Michelle, where the other chair is? Should we bring it in here?
No, Tommy's not coming.
You pass
He's not coming tonight.
Mark, Ben doing well? You sure we're doing well?
Yeah, they're all good.
Good.
I said, y'all get an addition to the family, aren't you?
We are.
That's good. When did they tie the knot?
November.
Okay, they'll be here before you know it.
Yes.
That's great, man.
Yeah, man.
Is he living in Rocky Mount?
No, he's in Gainesville, Florida.
Okay, wow. What's he doing?
He's medical device sales.
Okay. That's what Catherine's trying to get into.
Is it really?
Yeah.
She's still in school.
She graduated, she graduated in May. She's
Oh,
in
she did?
Wyoming. Yeah, she's working in Wyoming now, some dude ranch.
Okay.
Yeah, for his son. And then-
He's with, Diffuse Synthes, which is a medical device arm of Johnson & Johnson.
Okay, great.
What's Ben doing?
He's worked with a development company, real estate about down in Charlotte. He just started that job, last week.
So he's in Charlotte.
He's in Charlotte, yeah, was living in Atlanta for a couple of years. He moved up to
Okay.
Charlotte, about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
So he's just started a new job, so he's excited.
I'm sorry, I'm holding the meeting up, I guess. We
Yeah,
gotta
is that right?
gotta catch up a little bit. We got everybody here at 6:30.
yours?
Sorry.
I thought you were talking about the porch
Y'all ready?
in the front.
Everybody ready? All right, we'll call the meeting, Springfield Hope Board of Adjustments to order. First order of business, stand and say pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I see we got a quorum. First order of business, we would entertain approval of the minutes in the packet. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes from the last meeting?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes as printed, say aye.
Aye.
So our
With your microphone.
So new business, we'll have a public hearing application for variance on the dimensional requirements for lot width for 80-foot required, 65-foot actual parcel located at 504 North Pine Street. It's in R8 zoning district. An application for variance from the ordinances for shared driveway. Shared driveways are prohibited for single and two-family dwellings. Parcels located at 502 North Pine, R8 zoning. Mr. Mayor, Manager, do you have anything to add?
No,
Please.
Mr. Griffin, no, Mr. Chair. The applicant is here tonight to represent the application, and if the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer afterwards.
I make a motion, we go into public hearing.
Have a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're now in public hearing. So we got some comments from the public.
The applicant applicants.
podium for the applicant.
Thank you. First of all, does each of you have a copy of the application for the variance? You have those?
I'll take a printed copy. Huh? Oh, sure. Okay, okay.
Thank you. My name is Terry Alford. I live here in Spring Hope, and Jenny, my wife, and I are the ones that are filing for the application. It's for double variance. I speak up really loud. There are two variances that are requesting. One of them is 504 North Pine has a 65-foot width on Pine Street. And the zoning requirement is for 80 feet. In 1945, Kirby Lester purchased 504 North Pine Street with a 65-foot 65-foot road frontage. Of course, that was before a zoning ordinance. Also in 1945, Leon Gay, which is my wife Jenny's father, purchased the adjoining property, which is 502 North Pine Street. Michelle Collins owns 508 North Pine, which adjoins 504 North Pine. So you have three lots right together with 504 being in the middle. And the distance between Michelle Collins' corner and 502's corner is 65 foot. And so when this came up, because there is planning to be a sale of 504 to Michelle Bozen, and the issue came up that 65 foot was not with the 80 foot zoning that you have. The problem is that there's really no solution to be able to give that more. And so what we're requesting is that you would allow, as it's been since 1945, this is not a change, that you allow the 65-foot variance for the frontage.
You had a second request also.
Yes, sir. Would you like me to proceed with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The second one is a shared driveway for an existing shared driveway. This is not asking for anything different that's already there. 502 North Pine and 504 North Pine share a driveway. They have shared that driveway since 1945. Obviously, that was before zoning ordinance, and it was also before the no shared driveway section was added to the zoning ordinance this year. 502 North Pine has been owned by the same family since 1945. The ownership of 504 North Pine has changed several times since 1945. Since 1945, there's only been one driveway for those two pieces of property without any disagreements or objections or problems by anyone. The existing shared driveway straddles the property line. Part of the existing driveway is on 502 and part of it is on 504. So it actually straddles the line. Each lot owns a portion of the driveway. Michelle Bozen has lived at 504 North Pine for 27 years and wants to purchase the property and live there as her own home. She has shared that driveway for those 27 years. She'll be the new owner of that 504 North Pine, and she agrees with the shared driveway. It's also more feasible to have a shared driveway than to require a construction of another driveway on 502 North Pine. Pine Street is a state road. If I could pass out something else too, appreciate it. You don't mind me approaching, do you?
No, sure, go ahead.
Please do.
This is a letter from the North Carolina Department of Transportation dated July 15th, 2024. I asked them to go out and view the property and study the property for the purpose of possibly putting another drive on 502. And they went out and they viewed it and they studied it. They were sharing the use of a shared driveway versus constructing another one. And as you see, what it says is the current NCDOT policy does allow for joint or shared driveways as an option based on traffic counts and other factors such as site distance and roadway grades. Based on the existing conditions at 502 and 504 North Pine Street, NCDOT recommends allowing the continued use of the joint or shared driveway if brought up to the current joint shared driveway details that was provided. I would like to also show you, can I approach again?
Sure.
This is sort of what they saw. This is a hand-drawn by me, but I wanted to show you what the DOT was seeing.
Two.
You got two too?
Yeah, that's all right.
That's all
There
right.
should be some more.
That's okay. 502 North Pine has 100-foot road frontage. You see over on the left side, the driveway. And you see that starts at 0 feet and it goes all the way to 100 feet. That was the way in my mind I drew 502. You see Pine Street and Brantley Street. What they saw was 11 feet from the driveway was a telephone pole, and then a tree, and a tree. Those 4 pine trees were so large that it would take 2 of us to actually circle those pine trees. They've been there for many years, plus a fire hydrant. That's what they were seeing. If you were there looking at it, it is a hill, and actually a very, very tall hill that would have to be dug into, and you would have to really pull it out to make sight distance as you were coming out. So several of those trees would more than likely have to go. In addition to that, they were looking at Brantley Street. Brantley Street intersects there at that point, and they were concerned about having another driveway right across the street from Brantley Street. So I just wanted to let you see what they were seeing when they were recommending that, that we be allowed to continue the use of the driveway. I could, again, I didn't know how much to do, but I wanted to do enough.
The blue one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue one, yeah. But I have like 149.
Those are kind of twin houses, aren't they, Terry? These houses kind of almost look like twins, don't
Yes,
they?
they were built
Except for the
by,
paint.
they were built by kinfolk. Miss Elsie, Jenny's mother, lived in the one, the house on the right. And you can see there, you see the hill that's gonna have to be drawn. You're probably standing right about where Brantley Street is. And there's your problem. You see the trees and those things. They were sisters. And so that's where they lived all those years. This was something that came from the town of Spring Hope. It was the idea of what the residential driveway requirements were. And the existing driveway that we have now there that you can see, is 19 foot wide at the driveway opening and 11.5 feet wide towards the property. And so therefore it meets the requirements of the Spring Hope, driveway already. It meets all the requirements for that. One final thing I wanted to share with you. One thing, when I was a town attorney, and when I was a property lawyer, the thing I like to do on real estate was to make permanent solutions, not temporary solutions. You don't want to leave something hanging out there in the future over property. You want to go ahead and resolve a problem now while you can. And so what Michelle Bozen and Jenny and I plan to do is, at the time that we deed her the property at 504 Pine Street, we plan to sign this deed of easement and shared driveway agreement that will actually solidify that not only we as parties now, but any parties to the future, that would be a shared driveway. And this is sort of a draft, or maybe some additional things added, but I felt like, as prior real estate attorney and town attorney, that I would want to make sure that if this was done, that it didn't do anything to damage the future of the properties. And so that's why we have that in there. This would make it a permanent solution. That's the presentation I had. Would assume that you may have some questions, or someone may have something to say, but I just wanted to let you know that it would, the 65-foot variance would allow that lot to be sold. We presently own both lots, and so that's why we want to separate 504, to be able to sell it to Michelle. And so in order to make her property happy, it needs, the 65-foot variance would need to be allowed. And then we would like to be able to have the shared driveway based upon how long it's been there. Nobody's ever had any problem. We're gonna make sure that it's a permanent solution. And the Board of Transportation says that they would much prefer that it stay a shared driveway. We're not asking for anything that's not there already. We're not asking that there's a driveway there and we want to add something to it. It just goes to the house that's there. That's all I have. Thank you.
How would this impact other people that wanted to get this variance?
Can you speak into the mic, please, Mr. Mayor?
It would still,
Speak into the mic.
oh, how will this impact precedents for future people that come to get a variance for this? Is each one individually merited whether or not it should be approved? Town attorney?
Okay, well, would be a variance, and would create a precedent. I think that to the extent that other similar properties had similar criteria or factors comparable to this, then it would create a precedent where you would be obligated to meet that same variance. So there would be precedent for doing something like this, but you just couldn't say, I want to share a driveway just for the sake of having a shared driveway. It would have to be similar circumstances to this property.
Meaning pre-existing, grandfathered, however you want to word it. Because it's been this way since Mr. Offer said since 1945. I'm just interested, who actually lives at 502?
Okay, that is a rental property, we live in the White House
Mhm.
that you see over on the right-hand
Right.
side. That is rental property,
Okay,
and we have a renter in there now.
okay.
That's where, Jenny's mother and father lived
Right.
for years.
I don't have any other, is it long-term or short-term rentals? Just curious.
It's been both, right now it's short term. Well, what I say by that is, for the last several times, it's been rental to, travel nurses that come in, want to stay 6, 8, 10 months. But there has been prior to that, people that have had long-term monthly rentals.
Okay.
Is it-
I guess I'm asking because I was concerned about who would actually, if there was a resident there. I mean, I get that you're gonna sign this permanent thing. Could there be a conflict if somebody's got issues and Michelle now owns the property and I guess you could evict them. But I guess here in the short term, that might open a whole nother can of worms. Probably not for this meeting, but, because I think short terms aren't allowed, but in R8, but maybe that's not valid for this meeting, but I was more concerned in that if there's a changing of people that live there, would it cause an issue down the road? And I get what you're saying here of a more permanent solution. Would that be binding for, say if you ever decided to sell 502?
Yes, it would, that's the purpose of this, is
Okay.
to make it binding on the property
Okay.
itself.
All right. That's all I was concerned about.
I'm just curious, how long do these last? Like, are they in effect for a certain amount of years and then they, or is it indefinitely?
Indefinitely.
It is.
Yes, sir. The only way it could change would be if both parties decided to
I
make
see.
a change.
I was just curious.
Yes, sir.
So that, the existing drive, is that, it is cement,
Yes.
and it already meets the width and depth requirements that DOT drew? It's because I noticed in that letter, it says, they would agree to recommend allowing that continued use if brought up to the current joint shared driveway detail provided. So I guess my question is it up to that standard?
It's, the plan is to be repaved,
Mhm.
re-cemented, and the flanges on the outside will have to go out a small amount.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then it will be, within the requirements of both the DOT and the town.
So then, if this were to be granted, then that is a definite, you're definitely gonna do that. If this is granted, you're gonna bring it up, widen it, and bring it up to these specs that DOT presented.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's one of the things that would be required of us to do
Right.
in order to have it there. Yes, sir.
You know, sometimes people have intentions of doing stuff and we approve it and they never seem to get around to doing what they said it would do. But I have all faith you all will do what you say.
There is
So, and I'm not
absolutely-
questioning that, I just,
And there's absolutely no problem, with the board saying if you wanted to grant it, provided that it is such a standard on both the town and the DOT, we have no problem with that. If that would rectify the issues, I think we don't mind that.
So Chairman, would that be a motion to approve with the,
Gotta come out,
no, we
gotta
gotta come out of public
hearing.
hearing first, so so
okay,
if we got any other comments from the public?
How long this ordinance been in effect, Andrew, about the driveways?
That was
Sharing
adopted.
driveways.
The ordinance was adopted in May, Ms. Lucas.
This year?
Yes, ma'am.
And so before then, they could have, shared driveways?
Well, theoretically, yes, although the general consensus when you're interpreting these ordinances is that you're required to have a parking space. And those
Right,
parking
that's my-
spaces need a driveway to access them.
True.
So it's unique to find shared driveways, and frankly, it's discouraged in many places because it becomes a subject of conflict between property owners. And that's something for them to fight in civil court. It's not really something that the town would get involved in. But our responsibility is to establish a land use pattern that promotes good land use. And usually that's having individual driveways, so.
And we discussed that, and I agreed with him. And that's why we got the DOT to say what they would prefer to have. And we wanted to share with you how we plan to make it a permanent situation. So we took those concerns that he had to heart.
So someone will come to you, say tomorrow, and they wanted to,
I've actually got one sitting on my desk, ready for your next
you
meeting.
know that? Really? So this is gonna be an ongoing thing, right?
Yes,
If
ma'am.
we pass
This
this,
is,
right?
I turn these away more often than not.
But I guess the question is kind of to the mayor's point earlier. Is this one on your desk, and I don't know if we can speak about that, but is it two existing houses that currently have a shared driveway they're asking a grandfather in because they're going to sell one piece of it versus the other?
No,
Is
it's,
this,
it's one existing house that has basically a vacant lot next door that they want to utilize for a shared driveway.
so I guess to the attorney's point, it is a different, like, is that what I'm understanding? That is, we're setting the precedent for pre-existing.
Okay.
But we could go to that next person up if they wanted to build a brand-new house next to an existing house and share the driveway, it would not be the same.
That's correct, you could establish that.
You, if I may also add, economic hardship is not a reason to grant variances. It's not typically, and that's one of the things that the applicant has argued here. The letter from DOT, certainly DOT often prefers to have one driveway. It's just easier for them, and you know, they have their own reasons. But, you know, this is entirely up to the board. I will say you probably will get the other applicant coming here, and then it'll be up to you to, how you handle that.
For new construction,
It's
the other shared driveways
It's,
for,
the driveway is pre-existing.
Okay.
It's a new driveway, but the driveway was there before. It's just been,
both houses were
repaid.
existing?
no, it only has one house. But I think you're kind of parsing that a little bit. So,
My thing is that we have ordinances and we keep changing them. Everybody got a situation and we keep changing it. What is the use for ordinance? Y'all following me? Oh, I got a right to my own opinion, don't I? Thank you. That's my thing, and somebody else gonna come up with something, and somebody else gonna come up with something. And the reason I was asking that question, because if somebody came in tomorrow and wanted to build a house, you're gonna give them the ordinance of what they say about the driveways. And if I can use myself for a good example, we have a house on one lot, and the same owner owns the vacant lot, but we had to have two vacant driveways. Am I right?
yes, ma'am.
I mean, the rule was put out when she got it. The ordinance, concerned the ordinance. Got two driveways. I'm finished.
All right, have we got any more questions or comments from the board, or any more questions or comments from the public while we're still in public hearing? If not, I'll entertain a motion to go out of public hearing back into regular session.
So moved.
Have a motion?
Wait,
Uh,
can you show the aerial view? I came in late, so I don't know, this is Pine Street,
Yes,
and the other ones have Walnut, and so I'm just being selfish here, like, you showed before an aerial view, and I thought I could see the concrete place in my house. Where is this?
Over near Belt
Where is
Concepts.
this in relation to my house? Oh, way far away. Way far away.
It's
Okay.
just, yeah, it's just
Belt
before you get to
Concepts.
Belt Concepts going out Pine Street.
Okay.
Belt Concepts on the left, this is on the right before you get there.
Thank you.
Any other comments? So we got a,
Somebody make a second.
yeah, we had a motion, I was gonna see if we had, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Ah,
We're back in regular session. So you have a request for a variance. The proposal's been made by the applicant. Any discussion from the board, or I'll entertain a motion on the request for variance. Or any items of discussion from the board.
I personally think, obviously, you've got good arguments on both sides of the request. This does, it has been existing for that number of years. I do think we've opened up another question that I guess you guys can address later as far as short-term rentals, but, you know, that was a concern of mine, was setting a precedent that other people could follow suit, which that could still be. I don't know how many, personally, I don't know how many current homes have a shared driveway that exists that are owned by two different property owners in the town limits. But that was a concern of mine, because I do agree with Ms. Lucas to a point that, you know, if we're setting these ordinances, we need to adhere to the ordinances at the same time. But something that's been in existence for 70 years. That can be kind of difficult. There is 100-foot, and I get what, the state's saying and everything about the difficulties in adding the second driveway and those type things. As far as a line of sight and, with Brantley Street right in front of it. I hate being wishy-washy, but I'm on the fence about this one.
You can what?
I'm on the fence about this one.
Well, the easy one is the
I don't
road
understand.
frontage variance, because that's grandfathered in, that variance, because the property. The road frontage is the easy one, because that's grandfathered in, that's pretty much set.
If I may just address that.
Yeah, the issue with that is it's grandfathered in, it's a legal non-conforming use, but they're moving a lot line, and that's what's causing them to come in here before the board. So they're
Right.
making a change to a pre-existing non-conforming use, so that's why they need your permission.
Okay.
So they're moving the lot line, and if you look at the map in front of you, that recombination map, the lot line is going from where that Z is, to that dark bold line, so the lot's getting considerably smaller. It will still only be non-conforming for lot width, and it will have sufficient length. And the one issue I would raise is on the, I guess it'd be the northern side. Let's see, where's the north arrow? No, I guess it'd be the western side of 504. I don't know about whether or not that structure has sufficient side setback. 10 feet is required. That's basically the side that Michelle Collins is on. So, see where that oak tree is? And that's not clear from the survey, and that's not, I don't know that that's pertinent tonight, but that might be an issue. That lot line is, I think, somewhere around that oak tree. So you'll see that this, and I did a rudimentary calc on GIS, and it looked like it was maybe 8 feet or 8 and change, so it didn't appear to be quite 10 feet. So it might be another nonconformity. It wasn't addressed in this application because it's not really pertinent to the proceedings. But it could be to Michelle. I understand that, Michelle Bozen, I understand that she's wanting to make improvements, so that could be relevant to her.
Really, my only concern is the quasi-judiciary precedents. Because with this being the Board of Adjustments, we're legally agreeing and setting a precedent. But each one comes to the Board of Adjustments individually, right?
It does.
right now, the one he's talking about on the desk is not a shared driveway in the sense that it doesn't service two houses, it services a vacant lot. It's just the driveway that wants to become a shared driveway, which is very different from this situation.
And we got one sitting there that's existing home, existing driveway, but a new construction next door.
Yeah, you also have a commercial use, and that, you know, was only tangential to this, but that's, you know, a rental property is for all intents and purposes a commercial use, particularly short-term rentals, which, by the way, are not permitted in R8. So that too would have to come back to the board for some type of a special use permit.
Ms. Lucas, you said that you had two houses.
I have a
property.
house, then there's a vacant lot.
Okay,
We have to have two separate driveways.
right. But there's not an existing, you don't have a driveway that services two existing houses.
It used to be, it was torn down.
It was torn down? Okay. And that driveway used to serve both houses, and then they tore down one of the houses? Is that correct? I'm just
That driveway
asking.
served that house, then the driveway on the other one served the other one.
Okay.
Always had two
So
separate.
it's always been two, okay.
So,
I just wanted to do the right thing here because for me, it's very enticing to have property owner versus a renter. I mean, obviously, I prefer permanent residence, but there again, to Mr. Diano's point, to do it as a financial hardship, to make a change is not really a valid reason because then you'll get flooded with financial hardships. But, I mean, I do like a permanent owner. I guess long-term concern, and maybe this does address that in a permanent solution, but obviously there'll come a point in time when two current owners don't own either house anymore, and it's gonna come back to haunt another board somewhere. I won't be sitting here when that happens.
Me either.
Hopefully that's a really long time from now.
I think we make those, we make the ordinances to make positive change or positive steps toward planning in the future. I think that's important, and I think it is important that we stick to the ordinances we make, but then I think it is this board's decision that you do have to then look at each thing individually, and this is a separate issue from someone wanting to build a new house with a separate drive, and so I think it's the board's duty here to weigh that out and decide, is this a specific enough incidents that's not gonna create a precedent for new construction, that, you know, that's your decision, is this reasonable to give this variance because it is a pre-existing use for 70 years? That's a hard decision for y'all to make, but I think everybody's made good points on both sides of that. And I think it's important that our ordinances do govern how people use property in the town, but we have to be careful not to be too restrictive on something that's been going on for many years. It's kind of opened a can of worms with the other property line on the other side and one of the properties being rental property. A lot of things to consider.
Is there more due diligence that everybody that we need to do before we vote on it, do you think?
So the current lot line is 80 foot, right? So the request of the government.
The current requirement is 80,
Oh.
it's 65. What is the setback of 502 once you put in the 65 feet? How far off the line is the? It's the actual structure at 502.
It's hard to tell, and this is part of the. Because you're only really going by shadow. You know, it's hard to tell.
Commission, I wanted to confirm something with you. Earlier, you said it could be a condition attached to if there was a motion to approve it, there could be a condition attached that they had to do the driveway.
You did say that they would be certainly amenable to that. Yeah, so the motion could be made to that effect.
Yeah. I think it's about 7 feet.
They're like 7 feet.
Yeah. That's tight, and it's.
That's to 50.
It's 504 and 508.
Yeah,
When she did the renovation on the shared drive.
it's 7 feet.
That's even closer to 502 in the new line, isn't it? C, yours, but that C is 502 in the new line. That's really close.
I guess it's hard to tell because of the
Shadow.
shadow, yeah. 'Cause it looks
There's a
further.
little bit of shadow, plus there's the gable end that sticks out, so it's hard to tell. But there's definitely, this has to be confirmed by survey before, any work gets done here.
So if the board is, Andrew, if the board has a lot of, concern about this, they could decide, they don't have to take action tonight, is that correct? They could decide to table it if they so chose to do that, or they could make a motion to approve or deny. So the kind of three options, correct?
That's the board's prerogative, yes, sir.
I don't know that anything changes if we table it, though. I think that's where I'm at. So really, if we looked at an ultimate solution to make everything right, basically one of the houses would have to come down. I mean, let's be real. Is that what we're saying?
Well, I think, the compromise, in my mind, is that we build, the applicant build a second driveway to access the rental property.
Okay.
And then you minimize the conflicts going forward between property owners.
But I guess the other part is that doesn't resolve the 65 versus 80 and then the setback from property line or off the line and things like that.
No, there's a part of the code that allows the development of an unimproved lot, a substandard lot, as long as it's within 20% of that zoning district's current requirements. So even if you had a vacant lot that was non-conforming, you could develop it. So in my mind, it's not so much the lot width, although, again, the setback may be an issue for the future applicant, or the future property owner. But it's more about the driveway and minimizing conflicts going forward. But it's the board's prerogative on how they handle it. And again, I raise this because driveways in various iterations, whether it's shared driveways, which, as I said, there's one sitting on my desk, waiting for, they wanted to wait for this determination to come from this board. So, they were deciding what they wanted to do, either construct a driveway or come to the board and ask for relief. But also, double driveways in situations where they're inappropriate, for example, near a corner and so on. So driveways are something that they're very important. So what the board does, I know it seems like a de minimis thing, like it's not that big a deal, but it's important to people. So what the board decides has implications for land use patterns.
Right. Well, not to speak on one, obviously, that was on your desk or in a cabinet or wherever they haven't seen yet, but to speak on this, if you'd have been coming to us and we're asking to build a second house and to make these for a shared driveway, then the answer there wouldn't be even this discussion. It would be an absolute no. So I'll set that precedent in saying that right now. That would be the answer we would deny. Because to build a second house, no, you had the opportunity to fix things from the jump. This for, like I said, 70, 80, whatever years.
I would ask you, how is this fundamentally different, though?
Because it's been existing for 80 years or
Okay,
whatever.
but why can't they construct a driveway?
Would the state allow you to construct a second driveway? Would they even allow it?
Of course they would. It's up to the town to determine whether or not a driveway is needed. It's a state road, but,
You
but,
asked me a question.
Well, I didn't know if in your documents from the DOT, if they said that they would even allow you to do a second driveway, or you had to ask them that.
I did not ask them that particularly. They said that they did not see where they would want one on that 100 foot. That's what I took it to mean, but I did not specifically say, can I build one there? But what they told me was they didn't like it being right there at Brantley Street, which covers the whole 100 foot. And so that's my concern would be if I do have to build a second driveway, I don't know where to put it. And that's not a financial hardship at all.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is the hardship to the property. And they said they take that into consideration. The hill that's there is gonna have to be very wide because you can't come out to a hill and look both ways. And so several trees are gonna have to come down. Sure, we're talking financial, but that's not the concern as much as those trees that's been there forever and we've got an existing driveway. That was our concern. Thank you.
Well, to me, line of sight is the same. I mean, you can see it coming out. I don't know if the hill creates anything better. Might be a better situation because the hill would be from the built concept side. And you're actually moving further away from that.
Brantley Street is a very slow street.
It is for now. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, so not to belabor this, I'll make a motion that we approve the variance on the 65 feet versus 80, but not on the existing driveway.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the variance on the 65-foot lot width, but to not approving the shared driveway.
Not approving the shared driveway.
Correct.
Do you want to do that, two motions or just one motion?
How did he stated
Which
it's
I
one.
said it as one, we just need to be two because of,
It'd be cleaner if it was two.
all right. All right, then I'll make a motion that we approve the size variance.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the size variance of the lot from 80 feet to 65 feet.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on that. We had, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, motion carries.
And I'll make a motion that we do not approve the shared driveway.
Have a motion to deny the shared driveway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to deny the shared driveway. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
No nays. I'll ask for the nays.
Was there any nays? I heard all ayes. Did you vote, Kyle?
I'm gonna say there was no
No
response.
vote is recorded as a yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay, so that's all the new business we have. Is there any old business before the Board of Adjustment, Mr. Manager? So concludes our new business. Is there any other business from any other member of the board? Eric, Ms. Lucas,
No,
Kyle, Brent?
No, sir. I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second. All those in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Y'all want to take a break?
We'll take a short break, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, where y'all?
Minutes start.
10 minutes
10:30.
break. We'll get a 10-minute break. Gotta give Clint time to burn a cigarette.